Thank you, Tamiko. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Thursday's Regional News. We begin with news from Trinidad and Tobago. The dismembered bodies of two men which were found in Cuba, Trinidad on Monday have been identified. The remains are those of Michael Simon, 31, of Salado Road, Chaguanes, and Josiah Charles, 27, of Circular Trace Enterprise. The bodies were identified on Wednesday by relatives at the Forensic Science Center in Federation Park. Around 1 p.m. on Monday, the dismembered bodies of two men were found in garbage bags dumped in a river at Mont Plaisir Road. Police said a man who went to the area to gather flowers for a Hindu prayer service noticed a foot protruding from one of the bags, covered by an old mattress. When the bags were examined, police found the dismembered heads of two men, 2 torsos, 3 hands, 3 feet, and other human remains. On the torso of one of the men was a tattoo of the word Simon. The 4th foot was found floating in the river some 100 feet away from the original scene, and the 4th arm was found Wednesday afternoon. Investigators believe the heads and limbs were detached by an electric machine. The scene was visited by a team of officers. Simon and Charles were reported missing over the weekend. Both men from Chaguanas told relatives they were going to meet friends and never returned home. Now some news from the Bahamas. A Jamaican woman is expected to appeal her conviction and 42-year prison sentence for murdering her girlfriend during a dispute in the Bahamas last year. The sentence was handed down on Nadisha Beckford by a judge in the Bahamas during this week. Beckford was convicted in June this year of fatally stabbing 31-year-old Lakeisha McKay in the parking lot of the Mayfair Hotel along West Bay Street on February 20, 2021. The two women were engaged in an argument when Beckford allegedly stabbed the woman several times. The wounded woman was taken to the hospital where she succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. Beckford claimed the woman attacked her with a broken bottle, which she eventually managed to wrestle from her hands. The case for the prosecution involved the playing of an audio of a recorded conversation between Beckford and another person shortly after the stabbing incident. The Jamaican reportedly bragged about the stabbing of McKay, describing herself as a vampire and saying she would drink McKay's blood. The juries were also shown a video in which Beckford confessed to killing McKay, but claimed she was defending herself during the incident. However, the jury rejected Beckford's claim of self-defense and found her guilty of murder. Bahamian Judge Justice Renee McKay, in handing down her 42-year sentence, weighed the prevalence of murder and the particular circumstances of the offense. And to close tonight's regional news, the Biden administration will provide $2 million to Cuba for emergency relief efforts following Hurricane Ian, the State Department said. The communist government of Cuba made a rare request for aid from Washington in September after Hurricane Ian knocked out power to the entire island of 11 million people, killed 3 people, and drove thousands from their homes. The United States will work with independent organizations to provide the aid. Price said that they stand with the Cuban people as they work to recover from the disaster. U.S. President Joe Biden has promised to re-engage with Cuba after years of tensions between Havana and Washington, but Cuba's crackdown following widespread protests on the island last July led instead to sanctions on Cuban officials. Cuba's Foreign Minister, Bruno Rodriguez, said on Twitter that his country appreciates humanitarian assistance offered by the U.S. This material contribution that is worth $2 million channeled through the International Federation of Red Cross will aid up to Cuba's recovery efforts in support of the victims of the ravages caused by Hurricane Ian, Rodriguez noted. And that has brought us to the end of tonight's regional news. I'm Joel Vogt, back to you, Tamiko.